Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the third grade concept of fractions on a number line. This is standard 3.7a in the great state of Texas, and we're using item number 29 of the 2019 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, and then unpause it. We will look at our answers together. So we have a little bit of a story problem. It says that Javier, he rode 1/2 mile from his house. And so we've got a house set up on 0 on each of these number lines here. So even though it might look a little bit strange, this house is supposed to be at 0, the starting point. On which number line does J represent Javier's position after riding his bike? So our only clue is that he rode 1/2 of a mile. So really what we're trying to do here is we're trying to figure out which of these number lines best represents 1/2. Well, when we're dealing with fractions, we're always going to be dealing with two different things, two different terms. The top number is actually not called the top number. It's called the numerator. And the bottom number is called the denominator. Those are some big terms that we need to make sure we understand. So when we're talking about the top number, we are talking about the position. If we're dealing with a number line, sometimes it's the shaded portion. So if we're drawing a picture, so usually the numerator will be how many shaded pieces there are. It's how many fractional pieces we're looking at. The denominator is always going to be the same though. Total number. Could be pieces, could be sections, depending on whether we're looking at a fraction of a circle or fraction of a number line here. And so what we need to do is we need to go ahead and just see if we can put a fraction on each of these number lines here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our denominator first. Let's see how many total number of pieces or total number of sections we have for each of these. So I'm just going to put a little circle right here. I've got 1, 2, 3. I'm counting between the 0 and the 1, and I'm using these little tick marks as my dividing point. So I've got 3 pieces. So this fraction is going to be in thirds. So B, you see the fractional pieces are a little bit larger because there's less of them. And that's the strange thing about fractions. As the numerator gets smaller, the fractional pieces get bigger. So take a look at A and B. There's only 2 pieces. So each of those pieces are naturally going to be a little bit larger than the thirds up in A because it's the same length. The 1 mile is the same, but now I've got in A, I need to split it up into 3 pieces rather than 2. So each piece is going to be a little bit smaller. In C, I've got some smaller pieces. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Looks like I've got 4 pieces. So those are my fourths. And then D also looks like I'm going to have thirds. I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 3 pieces right there. So those are my denominator. Those are looking at the total number of pieces. But now I need to finish my fraction, the numerator. So the position, when we're dealing with a number line, we're going to be using these tick marks. And so we are going to say that this is the first tick mark in A after the 0. So that's going to be 1/3. In B, it's the first tick mark after 0, but it's 1/2. The reason that it's different is because remember, B is only split up into halves. So there's only 2 pieces, whereas A is split up into thirds because there's 3 pieces. C is a little bit farther. I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 3. So he is 3/4 of the way to a mile. And then on D, it's more than 1. It's 1 and it's 2. It is 2/3. So he's 2/3 of the way to a mile. So we're looking for 1/2, so our answer is going to be B. But let me show you something what we can do right here. We can actually write all these fractions out. So I'm looking at A, that's 1/3, and that's 2/3. And you see the pattern here? 3/3. 3/3 equals 1 whole. B is 1/2, and that's 2/2, and that's 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3.